Okay, so we have a new Vision Films joint called The Manifestation. Right? It is written and directed by Geert Heetebrij. The film is produced by Eric um, Mahilia, Zach Runge, and Ross Van Dwar. It is executive produced by Kelly James Clark and Sid Jansama Jr. and co-produced by Brittany Ward. Drew Denton handles the music. Tyler Grimm cinematography. It's edited by Leyu Ramaker. Brittany Ward took care of casting. Erica Pinero was production design. Art direction is Jen DeMint. Costume design is Kesy Grandana. So our cast, we have got um let's find. Okay, Stephen is played by Jack Kesy. Veronica is played by Inbar Lavi. Michael is played by Usman Ally. We've got Diane, played by Rachel Sullivan. Lara is played by Mara Canyon. Richard is played by Jonathan Lee West. Benny is played by Nikita Turov. The bank teller is played by Ashley Marie Jones. Tammy, the truck driver, is played by Gian Taylor. Security guard is played by Mura Gale. The receptionist is played by Katie O'Neill. Delivery man is David Stube. And the waitress is Incha Reed. So the gist of the story is Stephen, an unsuccessful day trader, is at the end of his rope. After a series of bad trades wipes out his savings, he turns to his life coach, Michael, who teaches Stephen how to manifest his inner voice, tapping into hidden powers. Stephen's mental tool manifests as Veronica, a younger version of his wife, Ronnie, that only Stephen can see. The free-spirited Veronica hands Stephen winning trades, putting him on the path to fulfilling his dreams. Ronnie is delighted with her husband's newfound success until she discovers the secret behind his successes and that Stephen has been secretly trading with Ronnie's student loans. As Stephen's relationship with his mental tool drives a wedge in his marriage, he begins to question whether Veronica is a mental tool or a manipulative force with a mind and powers of its own. Stephen desperately seeks answers from Michael in a bid to keep his marriage and mind intact before his muse costs him everything. So, this is an interesting one, right? Because I feel with the name of the film and when you see the poster, you straight up think it's going to be this kind of horror film, right? But that kind of body possession, that kind of thing. But this it has a different feel to it. Like we open up and Stephen is just his trades have just gone to shit, right? Just losing everything. right? And when he's on this call with Michael, you're just like, oh dear, oh dear, because it's just like, you know, that typical guru bullshit talk. You know, you see those people, those supposed motivational speakers and all of that. And it's just like, did you envision winning? Oh, yes, I envision winning, Michael. And you're just like, I mean, if that's really it, everyone would be winning. Not many people envision themselves losing everything, right? So you're just hearing this nonsense and you're just like, oh man, this dude is fucked, right? Then his wife comes home. Well, no, she's leaving, right? She's leaving for school. So he's kind of lying to her. So you just from the gate, you realize, yeah, this isn't gonna go well, right? There's way too many secrets and lies here. And that's the thing. So he's given this pep talk by Michael to, you know, use a muse, right? There's supposedly in the training they originally had, you know, that was part of it. So he does that, and things start to change, right? Now, cut into all of this, we're getting these flashbacks, right? So flashbacks of when Stephen went on this first course held by Michael, right? And on that course, he meets Veronica, but she's like, "Oh, but you can call me Ronnie." So we're like, "Huh, okay." But you know, there's a slight difference, right? It's a younger version of his wife, and you know, so we're seeing him getting into this whole trading lot, as well as the connections he's made with Ronnie, right? So that's all very interesting. It's also interesting the fact that she no longer does what he's doing. So what happened there? What got her to step away, right, and study law? What's changed here? So we see all of this, and just this whole implosion of Stephen and Ronnie's lives because of the lies and, you know, the scheming, the trading, and him kind of, you know, now using this new system. He's like, I've got a new system, right? I've got a new set. Which, if anyone tells you that shit, yeah, you're just like, no, no, there's no system, son. Like, even top level traders and betters, they'll just say, look, you can study stuff, right? You can, you know, try and understand the shifts and peaks and twists of this all. But there's no sure way to always win. To always win. The only time you're always winning is if literally you have inside info, you know, and then you might go to jail. I mean, if you get caught, and the chances are you will. So yeah, it's all just so suspect. But I think we do get a good I think emotional receipt from our characters. I think that is portrayed pretty well. I do always, with these kind of things, you do question, right? Because sometimes something happens so egregious, you're just like, would they even still be together at this point? Right? Who's really staying? Now, obviously, there are people that do. We know this. But what percentage is that? Because you just feel, man, like, I feel that person, they'd be over at this point. Right. So there is that, but everything else, you know what I mean? It's done pretty well. I just think there are some like bits of, because I think it's the, well, there's something that happens towards the end. It's the ease of all of that coming together, but then it's just Stephen's, the way he goes into all of this, right? The way he's, there's, I mean, he might be deluded, but there will be an understanding of the trades and the money and what he's got, and just the volatility of it all. And he does seem just real lax. But I thought the end was very interesting here. The end was very interesting because it's, or it makes you wonder what has just happened. Because what we see, there's something we know from the film, right? Involving Ronnie. Something we know what she's doing, let's say. But we also know what he's been manifesting. So you're just like, oh, what is happening? What's happening? And that was super interesting. It does kind of, we are left on this kind of cliffhanger. It does make you wonder if Geert has an idea for a sequel, you know, but I did like the ambiguity of that. I thought that was interesting. I would say the prop used in one scene, it didn't necessarily sound convincing, right? That was just a bit like, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, everything else was pretty good, and especially when you think this is Geert's feature directorial debut. He's directed a TV show. You know, he's written, you know, produced, he's done other stuff, but this is the first feature he's yeah, he's directed. So it's not a bad job at all. Definitely a lot to think about here. Definitely a lot to think about. So yes, the manifestation will be hitting VODs on the 19th of March. So mark it down on the calendar, people. 19th of March, the manifestation.